in some ways, even though all the characters here are sort of the heightened sort of operatic versions of human beings, I think you really recognize these people. I recognize Joseph, this avowed Christian who's one of the cruelest, worst people in this whole book. I recognize Nellie, who I like, who thinks that she is navigating the story in the most morally correct way, but you can look at a lot of her decisions, whether to tell or not tell information, and she does a lot of damage here. And even more minor characters like Zilla, who is the housekeeper of Heathcliff in the future, just her sort of pettiness. And even though you kind of understand where that comes from, because the object of her pettiness, Kathy, is not always the easiest person to deal with and has lots of issues, but at the same time, she's a piece of work as well. And I think that's maybe why this has only grown in estimation as time has gone on. And I think if you look at sort of the arc of Western society, certainly the loss of the niceness, the niceties, the facade has been peeled back more and more. So I think as we unfortunately have to confront more and more the people around us and the sort of horror that lurks there, I think the more, unfortunately, relatable the truly terrible characters in this book feel. And I think that's part of why the power has always been there, because in the past these terrible characters were covered in a veneer of society. And a lot of, I think, what is really interesting about what Bronte does here is she is sort of pulling back those layers and saying, look, everything under here is rotten in one way or another, but within that, it's not a hopeless sort of nihilistic thing. There are moments of hope, even though they are hard-won by the end of this book. I am under no illusion that my opinion is going to sway anybody one way or another, whether this is a book worth reading. But I will tell you, I was really pleasantly surprised after a rocky start. I was really impressed with the way that Bronte manages the balance with these characters and invests them with so much passion and interest that it kept me reading. And I really, the further I got into this book, the more I wanted to know how it all ended.